This is finding the complex zeros of a function. We give you a function in the blue and tell you that one of the zeros is a complex zero of 1 plus 3i, and we want you to find the other three zeros. So since we have a complex zero of 1 plus 3i, we must also have its complex zero of 1 minus 3i, because complex zeros occur in pairs. They're called conjugate pairs. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply these two zeros together. Here's a 0 and here's a 0. We write this in factored form. So we're going to multiply these two together. Before I multiply them together, I'm going to rearrange the order of these terms. So I'm going to distribute a negative through. So I get x minus 1 minus 3i. And then do the same thing in the second bracket. Distribute a negative through. And then I'm going to regroup the first two terms and the first two terms. Now think of this as like difference of two squareds in factored form. If I FOIL this out, my middle terms will always cancel out. So we can save ourselves a little bit of time. We can do cheater's FOIL, where we only have to FOIL the first and the last. So as first and last, first would be x minus 1 and x minus 1. So you get x minus 1 times x minus 1. And then last would be negative 3i times positive 3i, which is negative 9i squared. Then we're going to FOIL the red. So we get x squared minus 1x plus 1. And then negative 9, replace the I squared with negative 1. So that becomes a negative negative, a positive 9. I just step away for a moment again. Remember, I squared is replacing with a negative 1. I go back to our equation, x squared minus 2x, because these are like terms, plus 1, and then combine our last two terms, which are constants, of plus 10. What we've done is we've multiplied these two zeros together in factored form, and we've come up with a quadratic equation. This is what we're going to divide out in long division from your original function. And when we divide out using long division, we'll have our last two zeros of the function. I'm just going to erase this stuff here so we have some room to see our dividing. So we're going to say, what does x squared divide into x to the fourth? So off to the side. X to the fourth divided by x squared is x squared. So that goes up on top. Now we'll multiply. X squared times 10 is 10x squared, plus x squared times negative 2x is negative 2x cubed, and then x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. Then we change signs, we're subtracting through, so we get a negative, a positive, and a negative. X to the fourth minus x to the fourth cancel. Negative 3x cubed plus 2x cubed is negative 1x cubed. Positive 6x squared minus 10x squared is negative 4x squared. And then I bring down the next term of plus 2x. Now we will say, what does x squared go into negative x cubed? So negative 1x cubed divided by x squared, we're left with negative x. So we'll put that up on top, negative x. Now we'll distribute negative x to the three terms in front. Negative x times 10 is negative 10x. Negative x times negative 2x is positive 2x squared. Negative x times x squared is negative x cubed. Change the signs. Positive, negative, positive. These cancel. Then we're left with negative 4x squared minus 2x squared is negative 6x squared. plus 2x plus 10x is 12x, and then bring down our last term of minus 60. Now we take our last term and divide into it. X squared divided into negative 6x squared, so off to the side. Negative 6x squared divided by x squared is negative 6. So that'll go up on top. Now we multiply. Negative 6 times 10 is negative 60. Negative 6 times negative 2x is positive 12x. Negative 6 times negative x squared is negative 6x squared. Change all the signs. Positive, negative, positive. You get 0, 0, and 0. So what you're left with when you divide out is the second quadratic of x squared minus x minus 6. If you write that in factored form as a function, it would look like this. F of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 10. There's your first factor. And then what we just worked on in the green here will be your other factor. This quadratic equation is where your two complex zeros occurred when you FOIL them out. And then we still have a quadratic equation left that has two more zeros. So we're almost done. We want to factor that result, and these will be our last two. So we take our result of x squared minus x minus 6, set it equal to 0, and we use that zero product property, and we solve it for x. So I'm going to factor it. We use the chart method. What are the factors of negative 6 that add to negative 1? Well, that is negative 3 and positive 2. Set them equal to 0, and you get x equals 3, x equals negative 2. We use the zero product property. Now the four zeros are the two that we just found, and then the one that we're given and its multiplier. So there are the four zeros of the functions. These two are considered complex zeros.